So welcome to the Happy Week webinar. For those who are the first time here, KPI is a Childbirth and Parenting Educators Association, and we are doing webinars like this several times a year, about 5 or 6, to share different experience and different approach to childbirth education, things that work for different people, and our next financial year is starting here in a few days. So if you want to join, have a look at the website. Maybe you'll be interested in what this organization is offering. And my name is Irina, and I'm a part of the Victorian branch committee. And my role is to bring awesome speakers who will be sharing their ideas and wisdom. And we have Dalip. Dalip lives now in the Netherlands, and she's I'm sure has a lot of things in the background, such as a yoga trainer, but she's here because she is a Dancing for Birth instructors trainer and Dancing for Birth teacher, and has a lot of experience in teaching childbirth education through dancing. And we talk about all this that we can bring to our childbirth classes through movement. And before I let Dalip speak, I have one more thing I want to ask you to do. We have started this a little bit in the chat, but I would like to ask you a little bit more, to write a little bit more about who you are. Do you have any childbirth classes that you're teaching now? And do you use dancing? Have you tried to use dancing, or would you like to use dancing as a part of your class? And you're welcome to write any questions you have at any point of the webinar, and we'll try to answer them all. Okay, Dalip, can I ask you to say a few words about you while people are writing?
Hi, everyone. So my name is Dalip. I am originally Russian from Moscow. I moved to Netherlands 9 years ago. And that was exactly the time when I was pregnant with my second son, and I found out there is a Dancing for Birth program. Before that, I was teaching yoga for many years, and I have a financial background, but that moved to the land of home birth, to Netherlands, and finding out about Dancing for Birth program because the founder was coming to Netherlands for the first time to teach training. This really changed my life. So I joined the training actually after the birth of my second son, when he was 3 months old. But it was so terrific combination of education and fun and celebration and community feeling. So that my first idea was I want to become trainer to bring it to Russia, because it's the situation there is very medicalized. So the women are afraid. They only remember the pregnancies by medical appointments. So lots of fear. So this is how I started first teaching in Netherlands classes. Then a couple of years later, I was attending Dancing for Birth trainers. And since then, I was giving every year, every time I go to Russia, I teach Dancing for Birth training. I went to Ukraine, Latvia, Israel, Switzerland, and Netherlands. And so this is growing, although I would not say very fast. And I'm very excited if it will all work out and I'm coming to Australia now, because I think it's a little bit with Dancing for Pregnant is like with the yoga 20 years ago. You know, before it was, everybody felt like, okay, I'm not sure that's for me. And now everybody understands how many good benefits there are, so you don't have to be a certain type of person to use the benefits. So this, the same I see with dancing. So we're kind of pioneers to bring back very old thing which people always had, to take them away from depression, to feel connected, to celebrate transitions, for all kind of things that dance can bring for free. So that's a tool which everybody can use. So that's why I think it's I'm very glad if there are midwives who are also attending now and in general at our trainings, because that's where the change, I believe, will come through. Still, for example, not, I don't know, in Europe still doulas are more popular, but not yet so popular that everybody know about them, and it's not a mainstream. And when the midwives are a little bit dancing or proposing to try to dance or just to have a free movement during birth, this is really something that changes this paradigm of laying women in stirrups asking for help. So that's that's really changing the women to feel empowered when they feel they can do something by themselves, even something simple. Let's do circles, hip circles, and she feel I can do something. So that's a kind of general story, and of course I can talk about different things after my experience with teaching and with using it in childbirth. So what I think is makes it different from other things, first of all, that it's really a little bit, it gives some lightness, some fun, some feeling that's not something that you have to be constantly worried, and this really like good for the hormonal system. So every woman after the class, you look at them, they look like mostly like after good sex. If you talk about orgasmic birth, about pleasure in birth, I don't say that every woman who came to the classes, they start dancing during birth. So that's a whole process. So we see that the dancing can help, and during pregnancy for them to feel better, and during birth, maybe to use some small things to understand the physiology of why it's good to move. And after birth, it really can bring them back to the community of mothers, and also to prevent them from falling into depression of being isolated or not supported and everything. So that's why it's really a little bit different also, because we dance usually in a circle. It's very different setting of how we teach. And also important that the instructors are mostly, we don't have any submission criteria, basically. So the same way we believe that every woman can dance, every pregnant mother can dance, and birthing person can dance. So the same way we believe everybody can become a dancing for birth instructor. So you have to love to dance, of course, that's maybe a prerequisite, and you have to love mothers and babies. So that's the only thing. And after that, we kind of use a certain structure, how to teach the class or how to introduce women to the certain movements. And of course, the issue of safety is important, because when mothers look at what's happening in a dance field right now in the modern world, it's very different from what was like traditionally how people would dance. It's very complicated, it's very professional, there are lots of conditions. For certain dance there should be certain shoes, you have to do just this and just that, there is certain rhythm. So it's really kind of doesn't match with the way the pregnant woman feels. And we take in the program all kind of dances, and we learn and see how actually every dance, whichever woman likes or whichever we like, because of the certain energies or certain mood which it gives, and we can break it down into safe movements. We can adjust them. So that's why we always say, for example, we have inspired African dance movements. So it's we don't really appropriate anything, or we don't copy anything. So we kind of use African vibes and feeling. What brings us African dance, for example? What kind of ideas it can bring into the class? It's a looseness. Everything is like you can do anything. You can go low. You can do some sounds. You can also do very simple movements, but kind of bring to them more meaning. So, or if you go to the Arabic dance, belly dance, so we can see more the focus on the lower part of the body. So it's very nice for women who are very much in the head to connect with this area. So we put this coin scarves. They feel, what, this is my hips, this is there moving, there is where my baby is, not there. Yeah, so and lots of Latin American dances women like very much. Again, if you just go to a usual class of Latin American dance, it's incredibly complicated. It's not possible just to come for to have some fun just sometimes. No, you have to follow the group, you have to follow choreography and everything. So we have certain it's not rules, but kind of structure where you understand every dance for a pregnant, for example, every movement can be used separately. So that she doesn't need to follow it in a certain choreography, or that every move can be adjusted in speed. So we never like wait for the rhythm of the music. You know, if a woman wants, like right now, to start dancing, then she is free to start. So this is what really I think one of the important benefits from women learn from our class is freedom. And this is maybe what we as a birth advocates want to bring to women, that they but it's very nice to feel what you are feeling and to follow your feeling. So usually in a guided group class, so the teacher says, okay, let's do that, and then everybody should follow. In our setting, we kind of offer that, but women understand after a couple of classes, they are really free to do it the way they like it. And this is exactly what we usually want in labor. Even if the midwife offers something, maybe it's good to turn, but it's still, it's just a proposition. We want that woman feels, is it good for me? Do I really would like to do that? Oh yes, it feels good, I would do it. Or no, I'd say no. So we create this kind of a training sphere where women practice to be very self-authoritative. So whatever she wants, she can do. And at the same time, a little bit guided movements, they help them to feel safe and also to feel more confident. Because another thing is because of this kind of dance situation in the world. Last time we had with Irina a conference for Russian doulas and mothers, and I asked, we made a poll, and I asked first question, who likes to dance? So there was like 80-something% who answered positively, and then I asked who can dance, and only 50% answered positively. So that's a really, like, you can say half of the women, they don't use the benefits of dancing because they think I cannot. But I love the African saying, if you can walk, you can dance. If you can talk, you can sing. So for in terms of like every mother sings to her child, every mother will dance with her child. So that's the way we can approach also our dancing. It's not something very professional, it's more for the benefits of the woman. And so this empowering women for freedom is really something which differentiates from the normal dance class. And another thing that this community feeling, that we dance in a circle, and we kind of make women believe that also, for example, mothers who are first-time mothers, they are also full of knowledge. That they also they shouldn't feel that they're constantly should be in the archetype of the student. Like everybody should learn them something. So they should constantly ask, can I, may I, should I? So all kind of things. So in our circle, we at a certain point after women feel more confident, we bring improvised part where the women can do some interpretive movements. So when they can come up with their own movement, and the whole group will repeat after them, and that feels very empowering. So that we say, that's a mama in the circle. You know, whatever mama does, we all repeat after her. That's what we want in labor. We want the support. If I will start, I don't know, picking my nose, I would like that everybody pick my nose. It's lots of fun. Everybody feel very much released. And you know, in the outside of the room, you have to be very kind of, we keep our masks or our images. And in this class, they really come to loosen up and to do all kind of foolish things and not be judged. So that's also a lot of release. And also, if you work personally with a woman and she knows this from you, that's also opens up this level of intimacy with a birth worker, so that she can relax and be whatever she wants to feel during labor, wild or crying or calling mama or whatever. Yes. So and also. Very interestingly, when we get feedbacks from pregnant mothers after demo class, that they say it was I felt lots of energy and relaxing. So this combination is very interesting. So many women get very different things from the class. So some women really feel it gives me the feeling of how powerful actually I am. I still can move my body. I can dance. I can show some movements and etc. And from another point, often they feel like, oh, it makes so much looseness, gives so much looseness in my body. So this combination is also I find it important, because sometimes women are afraid also to go to the sport classes or gym classes or whatever, yoga classes. Somebody says, I'm a sportive person. That's not for me. I will read the book. So that's why, for example, we have we set a class like this, that at least like 51% of the class should be dancing, but the rest can be also discussing topics. We work with the affirmation cards, so to work on a positive attitude. We have some educational demonstrations, so that women also not afraid to come and be thinking, oh, 1.5 hours dancing, I don't remember when I did it in my life. How can I do it now this extra way? So we can really kind of fill in this class differently. And even we have a relaxation class when we more talk about relaxation and see, even if woman is, for example, is going through epidural to cheer up her mood, she can still even dance with her shoulders, you know, not maybe all the time, but if you just make you remember we were dancing before, let's put some shawl and do some shoulders, feel how you can breathe deeper, feel how you remember yourself powerful, and just send your hips to the spiral movement out and down. It's all the same inside of you. You can send your baby out, and etc. Just after I finished the workshop now in Israel, there was several midwives, and they immediately next day they started practicing it in a hospital, so 1 week after, one says, I was doing it with every epidural mother. So the mothers were sitting a little bit like inclined, not completely laying down, and she would dance their knees. She would dance their knees while mothers would because they didn't do it before, it was a little bit more difficult for them to accept this new way of going through epidural. But she immediately wrote me, oh my God, it was so much lighter for them. They had so much better moods, and it was a faster birth. So this is also what I often hear, that the birth happen faster, but not faster in a good way, you know, not when you feel like the train went through you, but you feel like I am in this train. And another important maybe thing is connection. So every time when I ask feedback, what do you feel, especially after first class, and many participants say connection, and it's actually a very different connection. So whatever connection somebody needs, they find it. That's a lot of, maybe many women experience first time they say, oh, it's actually so nice to be in a circle with the women and dancing and laughing. Usually you do it or with the friends or with family, I don't know, wedding maybe. Yes, and that is maybe first time when they connect with the strangers in a positive way and in open way, intimate way. And that's actually what also we would like them to feel, that the world is not against them, even if they are not I don't know, hippie birthers going into the jungles. If they go to the hospital, also to feel that you can connect with people and to feel that everybody wants for you to give a good birth. So although we also have a space for sharing, that you see, this is a different opinion, this is a different opinion, and still we can have fun, and every mother wants just the best for her and for baby. Yeah, so that's one of type of connection which very much appreciated after Dancing for Birth. Another type of connection is with the baby. So when we name the movements that you do it with the baby, you know, like baby come down, or we say baby infinite patience with the baby, you know, that we are doing infinite circles with the hips, or we are doing mother's milkshake, you know. So all kind of things. Sometimes women, until they are free from work for the last weeks, they mostly don't feel pregnant at all. So that's not with their body, not with their mind, maybe some arrangement made, but not really what's happening. And this is really what brings them, oh, I'm with my baby now. And that they are already dancing together, that when you dance, you hug your baby, you know, all the muscles a little bit working. So it's lots of revelation in this area. And also connection to their inner wisdom, to the motherhood, to their mothers of their mothers. That's also what we really bring into the class, because as I said, even first time mothers are knowing how to give birth and knowing how to do things. They make choices which are good for them if they listen to themselves. So we create this space to believe in this and connect that every cell of our body has this wisdom of generations before. Yes, and so this is a. And another thing is, of course, this happy face, this happiness, the oxytocin flow, this trust that creates. And they see that when they dance, it's much easier to create. I see, maybe they don't analyze so much, but that's this feeling that they can trust me, for example. And I love to see how they become friends with each other. Yeah, so because I was teaching yoga class and still teach pregnancy yoga. And I see that when people come, just sit on their mat, they listen to what you said, they do their yoga, and they leave the class, there is much less chance for them to connect, to create this community, even if they will come to several months together. But here it's mostly impossible not to get to know each other a little bit. And in a current culture, it's very precious that they also learn their different ways of mothering, their different ways of even doing the movements when they see each other. Not just we all look at the teacher, this is a perfect movement, and we try to copy it, and I don't know what others doing. And here we see everybody does differently, and this is good, and so I can also be different and do what is good for me. Yeah, so I think it's very, very little what can be in other practices can be taken. And also this our interpretative part of the dance, when we invite women to come up with her own creativity, is something which usually in a normal setting is there is no moment for that, or there is no encouragement. So how, just to ask questions, how do I like, if I like it or not. So and I loved there is in UK, he called himself Dr. Dance. So he is a psychologist who regularly does some research on dance benefits. he helped himself through his learning challenges. He thought he will not finish the school, and then he became he finished university and everything. He became a psychologist, a psychotherapist, I think. So Peter Lovett, I think his name. So he has very inspiring also TED Talks, and for example, he was looking at the difference the different dance has on a mood. So, for example, simple guided structured movements help to also, it's very logical, but kind of we like when there is a research. So there is very simple structured movements help to think in a structured way. When you have to make decision for example, like yes or no, or something like, do I go to this hospital or that hospital, or I don't know, do I do this or that, whom I take with me to birth. So actually the simple dance before, like, I don't know, he shows for a group in an auditorium, just let's do together this, something simple. But when you do this, the sequence very simple, it creates also structure in the brain when you can see clearly, okay, this is options and this is what I like to choose. And when people were asked for a creative decisions, so free dance, improvisation were really helping people to come up with authentic ideas. So that's why the combination of both of them, and a little bit structure and a little bit free dance, is really important. Because also sometimes I have people coming from the very free dance world, improvised dance, or some dances which use body touch and etc. They're very free in their body, and just put the music on and people dance. So they sometimes don't understand why you have to teach that. You just put the music. But often modern women are afraid of that. When you just put the music and say let's dance, so it's not opening really possibilities for many. So that's why we usually first start with some structure, giving kind of safety thing in the mind that, okay, this is what I can do. Even when there will be improvisation, I can do still that. And that's why it's also important for women to start practicing it before labor, because then their body remembers some movements, and you don't have to tell them, move your hip right, move your hip left, because this is too much neocortex stimulation. And we have some fun names for the movements, as I said, like let's do just the birth spirals, or let's do some opening the birth doors. So this is a nice image, and for some women, this is this even bigger meaning than the movement itself. They might not even do the movement which I asked, but they imagine this, and they already smiling and opening all doors inside of them. And of course, in terms of physiology, even if some simple moves, if you look at them, they are really, really unique in terms of how we can engage all pelvis muscles and all this area. Because if you think about walking, we just walk, that's it. If you think about even just squatting, the squats are good, but that's just that. With dancing, we can take pelvis back and forth, so loosening up the area of the sacrum. We can go from side to side, which is in daily life we don't do it at all. So it can loosen up lots of ligaments around. So we can go not only just to side, we can go a little bit to this side, a little bit to that side. So sometimes women who practice it before and during labor, they will just mostly naturally they will put, for example, one leg a little bit higher, they will go to that side, and they will move this hip, feeling, oh, this gives a much more easy, it creates much more space in my pelvis, or loosens up something in the back. So this is really something which difficult to get through other practices, because there's many small variations, many subtle things, and also because we use different dances for different people with different origins and cultures and preferences, so everybody can find something to to finally make their body move. Yeah, so so there is no like set rules, like you cannot take this or this. We have a certain basic dances that we teach during the instructor workshop beginning. So it's of course Arabic dance, because there's lots of movements, very simple movements, which is important, and focusing on this area. There are movements from Africa and then Caribbean region and Latin America. So usually you can see even by the eyes of the woman, oh, this is really what will make her move. This is really what something feels like that. Yes, I can do that. I can loosen up finally, or I can become a little bit more strong. Because what I also see now, although I'm myself yoga teacher, and I see some women really need relaxation to take away stress, to slow down, and etc. Lots of anxiety. But sometimes anxiety is also difficult to work with in a really calm setting, because it's also a little bit scary to be really calm, because you feel like I'm not doing anything, or etc. So when we use the music and we work with the anxiety through the movement, it's for some women can be much more easier way to get to the point of stillness inside and peace. So that's also different tools, and when you know them, it's as I say, you don't necessarily have to dance during birth if you went to Dancing for Birth classes, but this is like a birth ball. If it is in the room, you might use it. If it is not in the room, the chances are less that you will find it during the birth.
We have a lot of, some questions here, if you would like to do that. And there was a comment from Erin in the beginning when I asked to introduce themselves, and Erin is a midwife and hypnobirthing instructor, and haven't done any Dancing for Birth classes or anything. I just think it's lots of tools to help women in birth suit, and some practical things I can teach on the side of hypnobirthing. And I don't know, Erin, how you feel, but I myself already feel like after this talk, there is a lot of small practical things that we can take to our practice. So thank you for that. And Fiona said that she's teaching CBE at public hospital as midwife, encourage families to use their bodies in pregnancy and birth, but couples are reluctant in group settings, so to facilitate this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, with couples is always a little bit tricky with the man also, like dancing in a setting of the education class. That also can happen with women. What I usually do, for example, I don't call it like Dancing for Birth couples class. We kind of advise for instructors, for example, to have a series of at least 6 classes, and then the one class with the partners. But then, we have to find a way to the mentality of modern men. Yeah, so maybe I call it, for example, comfort measures and the wisdom of the movement. Yeah, so or whatever. So whatever you call, you already maybe have the name for your class, and you want to bring something about the movement. So usually I discuss about hormones, and I make some games then. So I put the music, very nice, like Latin music usually is good. Because if you put Arabic dance music, then usually men feel like that's not for me. Okay, I have to wait while she dances. So one of the important things which we teach, your presence is already helping. So if the pregnant woman is already dancing, you just don't leave the room. You just be there, present, and with your supportive stance, so she can lean on you while she's dancing. And if we just so that's what we actually learn during the training, how you can show certain benefits of For example, this is a good asymmetrical movements of the pelvis to bring, to help baby to take optimal positioning. So through dance, she can easily, not easily, but maybe it will be easier, or for her or for the baby positioning, or for to go through the contraction. So when she does it, what the partner can do. So this is a nice practice to do, so that woman can do anything she wants, and her supporter just stands and holds her on hanging and doing some circles, for example, or some hip knocks, or swaying. And also when they usually, there is a kind of idea that they don't like it, but usually when I put a nice, I don't know, bachata or salsa music, and I say is like, this is a exercise, yes. So that just be there for your woman, and stay there supporting her while she will move her hips the way she likes. So this is a different, because this is not like I asking them to dance, because as I said, everybody think I like maybe dance, but I cannot dance, or everything else. So but when the function of the partner is to supporting woman and everything she would like maybe to do. So this changes their attitude. Okay, I'm here to help. So they stand and and of course this is how it starts. But usually if the music goes on, they start dancing. So that's usually, I even don't have to say anything. It becomes very intimate sometimes. So and also, for example, in our class, we don't allow a witness to just to sit and witness it. So in these terms, like I try just to not notice any reluctance in the class. So I said, now we are going to do that. We will do some hip sways, and partners will help. So. Because reluctance means that the partners might not stand up even to do that, and it means that for other people in the group, there will be somebody observing them, which is not nice. And this can also, like in birth, can stop the flow of the birth. So that's also important. I always explain that. Or also, everybody who wants to see what is the Dancing for Birth class, we always say you can come and participate. That's the only way kind of to learn, not just to look at it. It's a more to discuss and see how through dance we can do that. But that's, I think, the most important about couples for now.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and there's a meaning of what you're doing, and a structure how you do it. It makes it much easier. We have a question about, when do you encourage women to join class? Early pregnancy, second, third trimester?
We don't have any strict rules on that. We usually always, with all kind of questions or doubts, we propose women just to come and try, unless there is a really bad rest should be followed and she cannot move. So for the rest, it's really we say come and try, because if you still live your life, some mothers say, I'm a mother already of 2, and can I dance now? And I say, do you lift your babies still? Like, do you do your groceries? Do you like take, I don't know, trash out or something? So you're doing these things, then why you cannot dance? So our dance is not more difficult than just daily life. In terms of course, for somebody maybe the pace might be faster, but then we always offer very slow pace, and for those who want to go a little bit faster, they can do so. But there is really freedom in this term. So if woman comes and feels, no, that's too much for me, she might rest during the class. Also, the same works after birth. Ideally, what we kind of envision is that this is a circle for both and pregnant mothers and mothers with babies, because this is how we traditionally mothers would learn things. This is how community works. That somehow now, like, pregnant women are separated. mostly like a camp, you know, like when you're pregnant, you don't go there, you go just to the pregnant. Yeah, so they don't go to the bars to dance. Where they go to dance? So okay, they come here. But wouldn't it be nice if there would be also mothers with new babies coming? And so do you see how it goes after birth? You still continue your life. You see, so it depends. If there are there is a lot of interest, you might have a separate groups for postpartum mothers. It also takes from the teacher a little bit more awareness, because you have to see what is good for a pregnant, what is good for the postpartum. Although some simple moves are basically good for all of them. Although we don't encourage to wear the baby all the time. It's not a baby wearing dance. We are free again. The babies can be just on the floor in front of mother, looking at the coins shaking. But this idea that they can come to the same class after birth is maybe one of the few things which will continue for them after birth. Because usually, okay, this was my prenatal class, it was very nice, but it's over. And then starts my life with a new baby, and I'm sitting in four walls, and I don't know what to do. And if they know I can just come back to the class, or even I will not move so much, I will just be sitting the nursing baby. That's really, I've heard many times stories how it supported women on feeling not separated from the world. And again, there are certain things which we learn during the training, how to support the women that come to the class and saying, I'm tired, or my back hurts, or I was all day on my feet. What to do now? So of course it's good to have a birth ball in the class, because with the birth ball everybody can dance. So basically, even also after birth, if woman comes, I propose, if it's really she comes too early, I would think it's better maybe that she would lay down and relax, but she cannot, or she wants to come. So I would propose her just to do some movements on the birth ball, so there is no like so much gravity pushing her pelvic floor and everything. And even when women say, I have a pain in my symphysitis, or some pelvis instability, there are many grades to it. So some women really cannot do anything, but some women come and they feel relief. So that's why I say, if you don't have any doctor's prescription not to move at all, come and see what it does for you.
Yeah, thank you. So
I see some Karen writing about belly dancing and the scarves. Yeah, it's actually yes, very good thing about equipment, because it brings playfulness. It's also the dancing which brings something special with using all the scarves. We do really kind of looks at sometimes a little silly. We put the shawls on the head. If you saw some pictures, I don't know, I can share later with Irina. She can share with people for attending today. Yes, so we do this scars here, scars there. We do some shawls hanging. Sometimes I had a dance therapeutes coming, who really like working maybe with a certain people who are prescribed, or I don't know, go through this way, and they would look at it a little bit like, oh, isn't it not a little bit childish? Is it not a little bit like simplified or something? But at the same time, after some practice, they see that all these instruments can help to open up even people who would not ever move their body in the public. And that's also a thing what we have during birth. So all life we walk with the closed knees. We shouldn't open them wide, and then you come to the room full of people and open your legs. So this is such a big shift in the mind. And when they come to our class and we kind of open the legs and do a little bit wild and silly, so this really for many women helped to become also more pursue what they want with more courage. So, for example, shawls are really wonderful for the first timers because they kind of create feeling I move a lot, but they actually don't move yet a lot. But it feels them that they are not neglecting my instructions, but they do something. But although it's just the shawls, I saw lots of women. That was the first step how to feel safe and participating in this dance. And the coins, putting them on different parts of the body really help to get awareness of, oh yes, actually I have a chest which I can move, and it gives me more feeling of deeper breathing and etc. So that's all whole idea of different things in dance can give you tools to approach different women.
Sounds great. And yes, we can post some pictures in our Facebook event after the webinar so that you can see how it can look. And thank you. For me, it was really helpful now that you said this to look at this as a tools to facilitate things, because at first I was one of these people who looked at these shawls and thought, well, isn't that a bit out of the range of things to do, and maybe that would be difficult to do in class, but now I can see that it's actually making it easy. This comment from Karen was actually a very common thought that, yes, we tried to do this experimenting, but time was a factor. Like there's so much to do, and of time. How do we make time for dancing in the birth classes? Why do you think it's important?
I think because it's in general in now the women do not have in their mind that they can dance, or even they can start dancing when they got pregnant. So I sometimes I like just to include it without really like announcing it so big. So let's just see how we can move, and the music can help. And there are so many benefits from music. You know, sometimes it's good to refer to, especially if mothers already have some children. You know, it's interesting to notice. We all bring children to music classes, to dance classes. We understand the benefits of it for children development, etc. But we kind of we don't think this can be good for us. So that's why I sometimes turn their minds just to think about this. Is really good to listen to the music that gives lots of positive feelings. Yeah, your own endorphins, and what I usually like do some small experiment showing how much easier to sustain the pain when you can move freely, in comparison to when you have to be, for example, in a bed rest and you are not allowed to move. So when you have to really, then the pain kind of focuses, and you cannot distract yourself. So, and imagine you still have this feeling, but you can spread it around and move at the same time. It becomes much more easier. So I think the important now path to get women to dance is to explain them benefits, to work first with the head, because this is where most of the women are, to explain how good can be it for them in terms of and physiology and hormonal status and mental and self-confidence and everything, and then try it and see. Of course, maybe not everybody will like it eventually. Nothing is for everyone. But even if like you, I see now a question, what type of dance moves do you do? Yeah, so we can think about any easy movement. So and if you start analyzing, then you see analyzing through the birth, so you see how much it can help. So for example, for example, there is a movement in a belly dance when we kind of stomp on the heels. So you stand on the feet and you just kind of jump only with your heels. And if somebody wants to try, if you stay doing that, you will feel like mostly, I don't know, you had now dinner, you will feel your dinner like really going down. So we call it baby come down. So sometimes it's really, especially if woman has done it before, she will feel it. Yes, I bring my baby down. It mostly feels like it goes down. So all women who are in pregnancy, they will even say, oh, I want to hold my baby. It feels like too much down. So so there are different ways where we want to send the energy, where we want to open or we want to bring it down, or after labor we want to close it. Sometimes the movement even will be mostly the same, but we will give the mental kind of idea a little bit different. Like for example, when we do the hip knocks, so this looks like a little bit harsh, but it can help for for example, when we do a first inverted position, if the baby is not comfortably set, so woman has a pain on one side of the back or something, we usually first do simple inverted position on elbows and knees, and after that we will come up and dance a little bit, because this is disengaging is first point, but second point is creating new space, and through the movement of the hips different ways we can see, oh, now this helped, now it feels different. So that's why the movement are lots of them. You can think about circles, you can think about side to side, you can think about also going more down. So when we will stay in this position and moving, it's a different than we stay in this position. So also for women to understand that you don't have to be certainly vertical for dancing. This is also important. So they can even dance being on the side, even with a peanut ball between the legs. And if you already had with her some practice and you say, okay, let's do now some baby maker, birth giver, you know, some hip sways, and she will do that through several contractions and feel like she's a little bit in control. She's doing something, although it might not look she's doing. So there are many moves, and I would say for now, because yeah, if you think about hips going to different side and you feel like a midwife, okay, maybe that going the hip to the left would give some space on the right, so maybe that would be good. But that's exactly what we are discussing during training.
For those who don't know yet, there will be a training in the end of August in Melbourne. It's a 3-day training, and we are very much looking forward to seeing you there. And I'm really looking forward also for this demo class during the training that you will have. I think it's very special to have a training where we would be learning, but also see how this class can actually be conducted in real time and participate in it together with pregnant women.
Yeah, that's my fan. Sorry. That's our common practice to because we it's very interesting situation that when I teach dancing for birth training, the people who come to become instructors, they never practiced dancing for birth before. So usually you like something, you practice it, then you become a teacher. So here is a little bit different. So that's why it's kind of intense, and because most of people attending are not professional dancers or body workers. So it's also first the big process for yourself. And it's not only big process for yourself. Most of the people who attended the training, they said it was like a treat. It was like a vacation for themselves. They felt so good. 3 days in this oxytocin for yourself. It's such a recharge. People were writing me they healed from their previous divorce, or they got again, they started again feeling they want to stay in the birth world, because before it was like feeling too much exhaustion. So this can also bring in a birth worker life lots of also lightness and ease. So I usually myself, I looking forward to the dance class, because I can dance myself, I can have some laughs, and it's really something different than what otherwise we do.
Yes, I think it's a very important thing, because as birth workers, we spend so much time in things that are physically challenging, not sleeping nights, not moving when we would need to move, or moving too much when we would want to rest, because that's what birth requires. So having this even for ourselves is, I think, very good and very sustainable in many ways. We have a question here about the training, so I posted the link now in the comments, and I will send it in the email with the recording afterwards. And I also want to mention that since, as you know, KEPE is not for profit, we try to make it as affordable as possible, and we have a payment plan. So for those who really want to join, that can be just 5 fortnightly installments of $140. But you'll have to commit to it until July the 1st, because otherwise there won't be enough time to do this. So yes, we hope that this will bring a lot of dancing to women and couples everywhere, and a little bit more energy and sustainability to ourselves as well. Dalip, do you know about different ways how birth workers incorporate dancing for birth classes in their practice, in their business?
Yeah, it can be the same way like with other separate practices. You can include it inside of your birth preparation class, or schedule one of the classes like that, or to have a group setting. I think to have a regular group is from one point is very good, because you have a constant flow of the clients who maybe coming who are for other reason than anything else, and then they can discover other services. So often, for example, for especially for those who work just privately, this is a first way of doing a group setting through which you can get more access to the community. Because especially if you think, no, it's not my way to become a prenatal yoga teacher or something else. So this is a much more easier way to lead the groups. From another point, of course, if somebody chooses that just to use it in private practice, that's you can do it even without certification. So what we ask is only for those who plan to teach groups, then to certify, so that we kind of know that the way the group is, the class is given in a group setting is looks like dancing for birth class anywhere in the world. But of course, there is it because it's creative program. Always it can be always mixes in terms of and using and dancing for birth, and maybe art and or some other things which you do with women. So for me personally, like I teach yoga classes and dance classes, and I see that there are different women coming to them. So the women who would come to my yoga classes, they would maybe never would go to dancing, and there are some women coming who would never come to yoga, but now they know me also through dance, that I'm a doula and I'm doing this and doing that. So that's I see very nice expansion of your visibility for different people.
Yes, and I was thinking, because of Erin's comment here in the beginning, I think hypnobirthing is very, very popular here at the moment. But there are women who would not come to hypnobirthing classes and who would come to dancing classes. And in a way, they're very, very compatible because dancing is also a state of flow, almost like a trance. And it also uses affirmation and some images, and even all these names you give to the movements, it's like suggestions that would help in birth. So it's very interesting how that can all come together, different pieces. So is there any more questions, or we can let Dalip go for today? Thank you so much. I think it was very informative and very practical webinar, and very inspiring as well. I feel very filled with joy right now. Even just from watching you dance, maybe I don't know how this happened, but I feel like I'm already.
That was also research made by this Dr. Dance, that people actually get much more higher change in the mood levels when they dance with someone or in the presence of someone. So when the people were dancing along with the videotape, it was much less difference in the shift in the mood. So that's why when we see each other, we exchange this positivity and attitude. So it becomes much more, I don't know, triples the mood.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. We are looking forward to seeing you here in August. And thank you to everybody who came to this webinar today and shared their experience, concerns, questions, or just stayed with us. And hopefully you can incorporate something into your practice. We'll be really excited to hear any feedback in our Facebook event. Maybe you will try something in your work these coming weeks, and maybe you can give some feedback or have questions for Dalip, and she will be able to answer them there.
But the best, of course, I hope to see more people at the training. And last time now in Israel, there were grandmas with 10 children and 12 grandchildren. And it was for me also new. Everybody enjoyed it. That's really for everyone. And doesn't matter if you think you want to dance or don't want to dance. There's definitely lots of. I think we give lots of idea and encouragement how you can. Also, while you are present with someone who you would like her to freely move, how you can also feel with yourself and be confident to share it, so that they can be free moving in with you in the room. So not necessarily dancing, but even like it was said here, like to come up and practice certain things. Yeah. Thank you, Irina, for organizing it. And it's very funny to see you all in sweaters.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have very cold winter this year in Melbourne, so come prepared.
I hope to come and see it a little bit warmer then.
Maybe. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.